Baby, we are live and we are ready to go. I am pumped up for tonight's show because I got one of my brothers on. One of my brothers is with us tonight. And first and foremost, because I know there's football on television or streaming. I know that some of you guys probably got football games tonight, tomorrow. So it's live. It's all the way live. So let me introduce my boy, none other than the great Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
Man, I'm good till I open up this soda, man. What is this? Poppy say, listen, America, don't ever buy this soda. This is absolutely terrible. Don't ever buy this, man. See if they ever come to us with a deal, man, we going to hang up on them immediately. Don't ever buy
man,
this,
I think my kids mess with that. I don't know. You know, it might be
prebiotic soda, man. This is terrible. It tastes like watered down Tang with bubbles in it, man. This is terrible.
Okay. Oh, all right. So you know, Q is ready for the night. He's ready and live, unfiltered for tonight, and that's why you come in the locker room. But let me get to the man of the hour. Once again, this is my boy. I've known him since he was a teenager, coming in probably about 18 years old to the University of Colorado. He is a Colorado hometown hero. We are talking to an all Big 12 champion. We're talking to an all Big 12 conference performer, played in the NFL Europe, was a bad man, but he had to work for it, you guys. He had to work for it. I love him, and that's none other than the great Derek McCoy. What's going on, Playmaker?
What's good, T? Thanks for having me, Q the Guru.
Definitely, man. For sure. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Long time coming. And, let's get into it because I know, like I said, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the industry. And as you guys know, we cover the hard-hitting topics. So you guys are blessed tonight. You guys are blessed to hear from this gentleman. I already know how he gets down. So you're in for a treat. He's going to give you some value. He's going to talk a little bit about his journey. We're going to get a little bit into the new age buffs with Coach Prime. And this is someone that has put in the work, you guys. Blood, sweat, and tears. Played at a very high level and was a very good player in Colorado and beyond, you guys. So I'm excited to get it going. So let's talk about it, man. All of the topics are on the bottom ticker. If you're rocking with us for the first time, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. So time to go big time. Time to go big time, man. I was there, D-Mac, when you first got to CU, and obviously you were balling out in the high school ranks, but college is a little different. And those first few practices, man, weren't too nice. Probably in the one-on-ones and everything like that, kind of got a little hands on you, and you had to come to Jesus, and then you took off like a rocket, man. And never looked back. I mean, I literally saw the beginning of it unfold right in my eyes where you weren't playing. I think you redshirted. And then by the time we're winning a Big 12 championship, we're looking for you in key clutch positions. So when did it dawn on you, man, that things started clicking and you could be bigger than what you were?
When I went from Featherstone, because, when I got to CU, I could not catch a cold. And there was this movie, Necessary Roughness, back in the day. And, I think our brother Vic had named me Featherstone because I was super athletic. I was always open, but I couldn't catch the ball. So, my big brother, Matt Brunson, he got with me. Coach John Embry had me on the tennis balls with the little black, blue, yellow, white, black, orange dots on it, and I was catching hundreds of tennis balls every day with Matt Brunson. And I was blessed to have a quarterback, Bobby Pesavento, who eased me into catching the ball from the more rocket arm passers. He's a receiver friendly quarterback. He threw a really catchable pass, so I was able to, in the off season, learn how to catch with the tennis balls, get that sort of timing with the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And I had really great defensive backs. I'm going against T. Wood, Donald Strickland, Mike Lewis, Robbie Robinson. The list goes on. I got to play against Damon Willer and Ben Kelly before that. Yeah. And ultimately just putting the pieces together through the years. and turning myself from Featherstone into a person that had confidence in his hands. And that just grew from year to year. And for me, it was a matter of I wasn't highly recruited. I was a no-name kind of person. But playing against the greats at Colorado, I started to have this confidence that I could play against the greats anywhere. So anytime I got to go against a Quentin Jammer or a Terrence Newman, folks like that, like I was turned up, and I was gonna put in the work that week. And it was a whole nother level going against those guys. And whenever I got to go against them, it was my time to prove that, y'all don't know me, but y'all can't hold me. And that was the same case in the NFL too. I didn't play in the NFL too long, but there was some big time corners who, they would have been embarrassed to have me be seen in public media what I was doing to them in practice. And getting to St. Louis, I know Q, you're from St. Louis.
Yeah.
I had a bad combine. I looked like Featherstone again, ran a slow 40. Just kind of locked up. For some reason, that wasn't the platform for me. So I didn't get drafted like I was supposed to. And that worked out, God blesses, in mysterious ways. But getting to the NFL, I got to choose to go to the greatest show on turf and go out there and work with Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Henry Eller was our coach. And after that, even though I didn't have a long career in the NFL, you couldn't tell me nothing. Those guys taught me the doctor level of wide receiver. And to this day, I coach kids when I can. But it was all about hard work and letting that transpire into a mindset of confidence, and with no doubt, just going out there and making big plays, especially when a guy like Q the Guru's in front of me. I'm drooling. Like, okay, this is that guy. This is that guy. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
there you go, man. That's big time. And like I said, you guys, I got a chance to see Derek come in. I was a few years older than him, but I got to see him evolve to a big time wide receiver. And you worked, and everybody respected you for that. I forgot about the Featherstone deal, man. So for those that haven't seen you young bucks, go to YouTube and check out Necessary Roughness, and you guys will check out who Featherstone is. So no, I appreciate that, man. And speaking of learning kind of, the PhD level of wide receiver, we always hear the term, Q and Derek, about wide receiver one. This is the guy that you can always count on. This is the guy that, is going to come through in the clutch. And since we have somebody that had to be that guy at a very high level where, it's 3rd and 10, need a grab, I wanted to ask you, what is the definition of a number one wide receiver in your mind? What, if you're coaching a college kid or in the NFL and this kid is telling you, hey, I'm wide receiver one, what's the application look like? What is the definition for Derek McCoy?
Well, for one, those guys that you just plastered right there, I'm like, I like watching those guys. That Jefferson man, he knows how to play the game at the best level in every facet of receiver. But ultimately, to me, it's funny because I'm a game changer, and when it comes down to the wide receiver one, I want 3, 4 wide receiver ones on the field at the same time. If I think about St. Louis, we got Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, both number one. We got Marshall Faulk, another number one receiver right there, right?
That's true.
We got Ricky Prohl, another number one, right? So if I'm coaching to you're all ones kind of thing, because I was a hybrid myself, and I was never really actually number one on the depth chart, even though in the stats you might have seen that. But even my senior year, DJ Hackett was in our coach's mind our number one. So I was a hybrid, and I consider a number one to be someone that don't care about that is going to block when he needs to block, like Devontae Adams, right? That's gonna run a reverse when he needs to, that knows how to get off the press, knows how to use that to sell the DB and bluff on run plays and have them running down the field like you're doing a go, but then always ready. It don't matter if I caught no passes in the first half. You can count on me catch that touchdown right now. You can throw me one pass in the game, and I'm going to go get it. So a true number one to me is someone that is willing to do all the things. and even play special teams for you if necessary.
Right.
And that was a real sort of that's one of the things I'm proud of is I came from Featherstone, who couldn't catch as a freshman, to a senior. They put me back there for the punters that were sporadic because they knew I was going to catch that thing. And that to me is what a true number one is a team player and is willing to do all the things and ultimately can catch 10 for 200 at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big right there.
Yeah.
Q,
yeah.
I mean, talk to me. I mean, we were on the other side of the ball, man. So when you were thinking about the teams we played against in the Big 12, did you think they all really had a number one wide receiver, or in your mind as a corner were some different than others?
Some were different than others. That's I think a wide receiver one is always going to be that guy that in a facet. It doesn't matter who's checking them, what the coverage is, what the we need a play now. And a guy that always comes up with that circus catch, and you see a pattern of it. Like he's well covered, and like he catches the ball, like he gets tipped and he catches it off the back of the DB's shoulder, or he tips it to himself. And you see that over and over and over. On top of everything, that he just mentioned, with, playing special teams, be willing to block. He's all-rounded. Another thing I'll say is, and it's funny, because when we had Bo on, we had Big Bo Scaife on, and we were talking about that loaded Texas team. And I always used to tell people, out of all those great receivers they had, Roy Williams, even though he was supposed to be wide receiver one and taking nothing, like just ultra gifted, but he wasn't their best receiver. Their best receiver was B.J. Johnson because he was a well-rounded receiver. I knew even myself. Even at me 5'9" and Roy 6'3", but I knew, well, he's gonna run a post or a go route, so I know what to stop. But when you guys had a dude like BJ and Sloan that were on the other side or in the slot, well, they were actual route runners. They can run every single route on the tree. Those are the guys to me that are most dangerous. Guys that are one-dimensional, that you look and consider quote-unquote, NFL prototypical, the 6'4", 220, but we know what they're going to run. It doesn't matter. Like if you know what they're going to run, that's, what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to stop guys like that. But guys that can run anything, are willing to block, and then next thing like I said, you're coming up with 10 catches of 200 yards. They can line them inside. They can line them outside. You send them in motion. It doesn't matter. That's your wide receiver one. You line him up anywhere, he's going to go to work.
Okay, all right. So that's it, man. And I know that we've got some athletes before you go pro, but you're hearing it from someone that had to live that life, that had to be counted on in that aspect. And then you're hearing from someone else that's had to guard number one wide receivers, so there's a good mindset, of what it looks like, you guys that want to live that life, that want to be counted on in that type of realm. So you guys definitely thank you for sharing that. We're on to our next topic, and this one is interesting. Obviously, the superstar quarterback, he's like a grandfather now in college football terms, but Cam Rising from Utah, it seems like every year their hopes hinge on if he's healthy or not, and he's not healthy. So he got hurt again. And the interesting thing, and I'll start with you on this one, Q, he wants an 8th year. He wants an 8th year to play at Utah. He's injured, so it is legit. This isn't a competition thing. But I want to ask you, should there be a cap, regardless of circumstances, on how long a young man can play college football, or should it be, hey, get it as long as you can get it?
Man, I think it needs to be a cap. I think it needs to be a cap because, man, you at some point in time, this is football, especially if you have repeated nagging injuries. Obviously, no one wants to end their career on a bad note or end their career on an injury. That's an absolute given. But you have to give these pups behind you, man, these young guys, the same opportunity you had. Like, man, you can't be 26, 27 years old, Now, I remember, like, back in our era, the only excuse we saw kids like that was if they played baseball. Right? Then it was acceptable. But this good, like in instances like this, like man, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
All right. Well, let me ask you. I think you might have had a couple little small injuries at CU, Derek. But I mean, what could you have been with a 6 year, a 7th year, an 8th year at CU? Do you think he should be allowed to come back, or you think they should cut this man off?
Man, this trips me out, to tell you the truth. I could go up there right now and it wouldn't be fair, even though I ain't gonna be as fast as all those guys. Like I know some things, right? This trips me out. Now, I'm not against anybody getting their opportunity, so I appreciate that. It trips me out because, our teammate Jeremy Bloom, he's an Olympic skier. He couldn't get paid. So NIL, I'm like, yes, finally. And he played a role in that. Our boy John Minardi was a fantastic receiver, my big brother, right? And he didn't get to play. And it was that was messed up to me because he had played in like a couple games and really got injured and hadn't played a ton before that. So I am glad to see some loosening up of that, but it's like the pendulum has swung too far in this situation. And you see guys in the NFL right now that are retiring because of head injuries and looking out for their body and wanting to get into elder years.
Right.
To Q's point, I agree. And I also feel like that should be a thing in the NFL too, because I was a young guy in the NFL and I see old Hall of Famers that are out there way past, they ain't got it no more. Like, I love you, but
sit down, man. Right.
Y'all love them and they get commercials, but there's 7 guys right here that are hungry trying to eat that are literally better than this guy at this point in his life.
It is taking a roster room.
It ain't just still in the roster room. Not that we don't have any boys that have done that. I ain't mad at people. Get your money.
Right.
But come on now. That kid is hungry and he ain't gonna make it if he doesn't get his chance in this double dutch game right now.
Yes, indeed. That is funny. And yeah, I mean, he's collecting NIL money, and it's going to be interesting, you guys. It's going to be interesting to see if they let Cam come back. But when do you cut a young man off? When do you say, hey, enough at the bar, you need to go home? All right. So this will be interesting. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and definitely excited to have my boy on. Now, this one is coming. This one is actually, let me go back to Rashee Rice. This one was interesting, you guys, and we kind of switched up the show because this was fresh off the press. But, Rashee Rice, his mom said, I know my son's in the NFL, but I got to make moves for myself. And she got caught, you guys, on somebody's ring cam. And the video is going viral, of course, stealing packages, stealing somebody's package. And obviously, not only was she stealing the package, Q, but she had the Mama Rice jersey on. Man. And this is a young man who has already had off the field issues and is kind of, the ice is getting thin. The ice is getting thin under Rashee. So I want to ask you guys, and we'll start off with you, D-Mac. I mean, I don't even know how to approach this dude.
With the jersey on, though? Come on, man. With the jersey, you could at least wore a little black hoodie or something, man. You just gonna do your son. It sounds like a setup, T.
So
you got your son's jersey on.
You trying to make a living for the whole family, man. You trying to catch touchdowns for the whole family. And Mama, after you get Mama out of jail, what show come? And as far as I know, it's your mom, so you can't fully kick her to the curb. But what is Derek McCoy's rule if family members break this type of thing where now I'm public? Are you cutting them off right away? Give me some advice for the young people out there.
I got to be real with y'all, man. We all have family members that are, that are a trip, you know? And I ain't in the public like that. I ain't famous. And I got people in my direct family that they are fully cut off from me, because for me, it's a matter of, if you ain't trying to change from within, I ain't expecting you to, and I can't be your savior. Like, that ain't what my role is here. So the reality is, I expect people to be more of who they are, if they're changing, the proof is in the pudding. But ultimately, sometimes we got to cut our own parent off in order for our generational lineages to continue. Like, hey, that parent is lost, but there's hope for our future. But not if we keep our future around that, because then they get influenced in ways that that's grandma, that's grandpa. Like, I can do that. And it's like there's a school to prison pipeline, and there's cycles of incarceration that it ain't fair, it ain't right. But if that's what the country's going to do to us, we got to do what we can to break those chains, because it's still willing to keep us in these chains to this day.
Facts.
Wow, well said right there. Q, I mean, talk to me. Maybe give us the perspective from the Chiefs. Let's say the Guru is the GM of the Chiefs right now. You dealing with a young man that has already had some incidents off the field, and then now Mama's going viral, and she got the jersey on. How does the GM for the Chiefs look at this? Does he talk to Mom, or does he go to Rasheed and say, you got to handle Mom? How does that look?
Well, I can almost tell you exactly how the front office is going to be looking at it. When they look at the off the field issues that they've had to deal with him, and they look at his mom, and when you connect the dots, you're like, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. That's your foundation. That's who you got your morals from. That's who you got your
so does that grant him grace, or does that make GM Guru want to run?
Well, no, it absolutely, because it's more on, and it's almost unfair in a lot of ways. But I can guarantee that a lot of, and not just them, even if he were to get traded, even for future opportunities, they would look that way. You know, it's just like Tia. Remember, if you remember back a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about in regards to a lot of teams look at quarterbacks that are from 2-parent homes. It's a reason for that. So when they're looking at your background and they see your mom do something like this, they're going to look at you regardless. Like, well, okay, then we see why you're a problem off the field. Look at who raised you. She doesn't have any morals. She doesn't have anything about herself. Look at what like your mom's a grown woman, and where's your jersey to put you out there, which is as a Chiefs, our brand, right? Which is putting us and making us look bad as a brand. Your son is part of that brand, but it makes sense, right? So that's how I believe that's how they're looking at it.
Jimmy is off the hook. He said,
"Bad fruit, bad roots, man." You know, I mean, that's the way they're looking at it. They're looking at it like bad roots, bad fruit.
So you're saying from the point, and this is very important because we got a lot of parents that do tap in to this show. What the Guru is saying is, hey, parents can mess things up for their kids, can mess things up for everybody's bag. And in this case, where this young man has already had some incidents and is trying to steer clear, mom going viral stealing packages doesn't help this young man. So you guys keep that in mind, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully Rasheed and Mom can get on the right track, with that. So
family counseling.
We are on to our next topic, you guys, and this one is right down our alley since you got two buffs on the podcast with you. And Travis Hunter, the superstar dual threat wide receiver DB, probably could be the running back, the kicker, and everything for the Buffs, is hurt. But he's coming back, y'all. He's coming back. And the Buffs are 4-2. 4-2, 6 wins gets you a bowl game, and they happen to have 6 games left. Now, this is the same 4-2. We're hoping it's not the same, but they were 4-2 last year when he got hurt, and then the season fell off the rails. So we're hoping we don't see deja vu. But I'll throw it to you, Buff. This young man has a lot to lose if he gets hurt, especially if it's severe. Maybe a Heisman, but if you put the Heisman on the shelf, a lot of money, like a top 5, top 10 pick. How many games do you really think we'll see from Travis Hunter? Do you think we see the rest of the season, or do you think maybe only 1 more 2 in black and gold?
this ain't going to be a popular voice, but this guy is all over the place. He's in a United Airlines commercial right now. He's got a great personality. He's one of the most athletic humans to ever walk this earth. And I love Coach Prime because he's willing to empower the players. I also think that we got to put up some boundaries and some. I would not have this young man playing over 100 plays. I would have Travis said, "All right, you get 80 plays. That's your limit."
Yeah.
Because I want you to have a future beyond this. He's a young man still. He's not a man. He was a boy a couple of years ago.
Right.
He's a very young man. And fortunately, he has the NIL. So either way, if he saves right, he could be set. But the reality is, if I'm Coach Prime, I'm putting up some boundaries that this young man isn't willing to put up for himself so that he can have a career in this thing, football, beyond this. I don't see him sticking with CU past this year. And I do think it would be wise for him to go to the NFL. He has the talent. He's healthy enough, hopefully, after this season. But if he keeps playing 112 plays, he ain't going to have much longevity in the NFL. So I would be looking to see him go to the NFL, help him preserve his body, set some boundaries for himself so that he can have a long-lasting career. Because y'all know this game, it don't matter how good you are. It's brutal. Injuries are going to happen.
Inevitable.
And if you're playing 112 plays at those two positions, you ain't going to be able to last 10 years in the NFL.
No.
I've seen guys
How many more games do you think you're going to see him playing for the Buffs?
This year? Hopefully some. It depends on how hurt he is. Yeah. I don't think that they have a shot of getting to a bowl game without him.
I don't think that's a good idea in and of itself.
Him playing this weekend?
No, I think, fellas, when you're looking at it and I totally agree with you, definitely. But it's like, man, from coach's standpoint, it's and we know that Travis, man, he wants to do it all, man, and we know that they obviously these conversations probably had been had multiple times behind closed doors. I would say this: you guys are at 4-2. After I win these next two games and I'm bowl eligible, I would cut those 80 snaps damn near down to 50. We got our bowl. We're in a bowl. That was the goal. We're in there. I'm cutting it to 50 down to 50 snaps. That's it.
You're saying Coach Prime makes that call?
Yeah. I would. Yeah, we after and hopefully you guys, especially if it's the next two games, you guys are in there. You got your 6 wins. We're bowl eligible. Have a seat. Whatever you can't do in 50 snaps, oh well. It don't even matter. We going to a bowl regardless.
Okay.
And so really got to make a decision if he's going to play in a bowl game.
So you're talking about him finishing the season, but once you hit the bowl mark, drastically cutting down the plays.
He's getting 50 snaps, maybe 60, but I'd say closer to 50 than closer to 50 than 80.
Yeah,
50 snaps.
Targeted snaps.
Yeah, and make them count and have a seat. And that's the end of. I agree with you. And that's the cap, and that's the end of it. After those 50 snaps, have a seat. I don't care if we winning or losing. Don't matter. Like I said, we in there anyway. We got our 6. Have a seat, man. Sit down.
Very interesting, and obviously this will be an ongoing topic, you guys, but this is a delicate situation, and Q and I have talked about this before, but this is very, very delicate, you guys, because he's obviously going to have a lot of eyes on him if he hits the field. He's going to be targeted, and if he, God forbid, gets seriously hurt, that is a lot of money that he's potentially losing. Now, I'm sure he's probably got a hefty insurance policy, but still, ain't the same as going top 5.
Let me ask you guys. Let me ask you guys a question. I'd love to hear from both of you all. What do you feel like if he does get hurt and it's one of those things where it could be, God forbid, because obviously we all want to see Travis win, but one of those things where, say, even this, like he's coming back too early, one of those injuries that he doesn't recover from, or he comes back and he's not the Travis Hunter, do we know? Does the scrutiny that we would see in regards to Coach Prime? Hold on one second here, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Gotcha. Does the scrutiny
Okay, my bad. Got you. Does the scrutiny that Coach Prime would receive, does that hurt his legacy in any way? Despite all that Coach Prime has achieved as an athlete himself, with this man's career, and he gets hurt, that affects his draft status severely or his career because he's been playing too much. Does that scrutiny, does that those choices that Coach Prime has made to allow him to do this, does that hurt Coach Prime's legacy? That's the question I want to know.
And that's why this is so delicate, because and we'll refresh you, Q, because you're paused right now. Refresh your screen.
Oh, you good?
But I'm gonna remove you and then bring you back on. But yeah, man, I mean, that's why this is so delicate, because it always is delicate when you have someone that's so talented, and how much do you play them and everything. But we haven't seen anybody play this amount of reps. And then also, he's got like a father-son relationship, with Travis. So it's you can tell their relate. I mean, he's at his house. You can tell, and then obviously him being choosing to go to Jackson State as the number one recruit, you can tell they've got a deeper relationship. So, I mean, Prime this has to be one of the things keeping him up at night. D, and we'll try to get the guru back with us, but this is very delicate, man. Let me ask you this, D, if he gets hurt again, and let's say it's somewhat serious, not a season ending, but a really bad tweaked ankle or something, do you think they just shut it down?
Man, I don't know, because he is a tough young man, and I get that, right? Because you're willing to go out there even when folks are telling you not to, and it's like holding a lion back. It's like not possible. So hearing these questions, though, I'm like, I think Coach Prime, I think Travis Hunter, I think they're fine regardless, if I'm being honest. God forbid Travis Hunter has a career-ending injury, he's still good to go, because what I see is a young man that's so dynamic that he could be Hollywood, he could be a coach, he has a 3.6 grade point average, he could do anything in the business world. So yes, he loves this, and he's pouring it into it, and maybe burning it too fast at this point. But I think he's going to be fine because he's so well-rounded. It's other folks that I feel more concerned for, that they ain't even out there and they got all their eggs in that one basket. So, Coach Prime, Travis Hunter, these guys are going to be leaders in the community throughout their lives, regardless if it's football or something else. We didn't hear about Coach Prime in a long time. What's he doing out there? Raising up one of the, biggest youth football leagues ever, and doing his thing quietly. And then all of a sudden we got this Prime show of him over at Jackson State, and attracting all this attention and players to the Hall of Fame coaches. So I honestly I'm proud of where the game is going in certain ways, with Deion Sanders. But ultimately Travis Hunter is a game changer. The way he smiles, the way that he, is willing to leave football on the field and uphold mutual respect. What he did last season when they definitely targeted him at CSU to squash the beef was some civil rights leader kind of stuff. So I'm not concerned about his body. If he wants to burn it out too quickly on the field, I trust that his heart and soul is gonna have a lot of impact in this world still.
That's a great response, man. So what basically Derek is saying is that the football is small, and this kid, I mean, he loves football. He's dedicated so much time and effort, but he's got some transcendent qualities, some qualities that go beyond football, and he's going to make his money regardless and be just okay. So you think he's going to play regardless, and that's the type of kid he is. So you guys are probably right, and I know we're waiting for the guru to come back on. Let's see if he can actually hear us. I don't know if he can. We can't bring you on yet, Hugh. So maybe try the phone, man. But one of the things that Jimmy is saying right here is save Travis from himself. Save Travis from himself. So the kid is so dynamic and puts it all out there so much that, it's going to take Prime probably, or the staff to say, hey, dude, you've done enough for CU. So this is going to be interesting, you guys, to see as we move forward. But we are going to move forward with the lightning round, and we'll try to get Q back on because I know that he loves the lightning round and to be involved with that. But if you guys are joining us for the first time, this is the lightning round, baby, and this is our version of a little word association. And I got my boy in here with me, so I'm really hoping that he comes through for the lightning round. It does great, but he's got 60 seconds, you guys. Derek has 60 seconds to get through the list that I got in front of me. And whenever I know the guest pretty closely, we usually have a pretty good list where we can play around with them a little bit. So 60 seconds, man. I'm going to put you through a little word association drill. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get the stopwatch ready. And let's see how good this Buffalo can be. Now, we have a number that you're trying to beat, D. You're trying to beat 14. 14 is the number, all right? And then we give you one quick delay. So we had, the name is slipping me because I got a million things going on. That's but okay. I'll give it to you. Who was that got that? That was just a couple of shows ago, but somebody got 14. And if you can beat that, then it's a dinner on the locker room show. A dinner on the locker room show. So you get one for tech delay too. One for tech. So 13, you're still in the mix. All right. We got him at zeros, baby. We got him at zeros. Oh, it might have been you know who it was? It was RJ Jones. You played against him too. RJ Missouri? Was Missouri. RJ was the one who got and we got the guru back with us, baby. RJ was the one who got to 14. So 14 is the number. You get one for tech delay, so 13 and you're in the mix. So you came back right on time, Q, for the lightning round. So let's get it rocking and rolling. We got him at zeros right there. I'm never gonna cheat a Buffalo. And this is the lightning round. You got first thing that comes to his head, unfiltered. All right. Number one. Skyview High School. Go.
Wolverines.
Spaghetti or ramen?
Raymond.
Daniel Graham.
The boss.
Favorite cereal?
Oatmeal.
Best player you ever played against?
Donald Strickland.
Doc Crease.
Sit, run.
Climb Mount Everest or swim with stingrays?
Swim with stingrays.
Randy Moss, he's rolling, y'all, or Megatron?
Randy.
Rihanna or Beyonce? 45
Rihanna.
seconds. Favorite taco topping?
Lettuce.
Gary Barnett.
Coach.
Red Vines or Skittles? 55 seconds.
Red Vines.
Jamaica or Hawaii?
Jamaica.
Time.
Give him that one.
What?
Give him that
Which
one. What you say, Jamaica?
Jamaica.
Yeah. Give him that one.
All right.
Give him that one. Yeah. I got that one.
All right. So once again,
hey, I was with you on the Red Vines. I was trying to hold myself back. Like, damn, he gets it.
Favorite snack of the guru. So, hey, 14's the number, you guys, and 13 still puts him in the mix. He was rolling, so we're going to count him up. We're going to revisit as we always do. So, number one was Skyview High School. That's his old high school. He said Wolverines. Number two, he's going with the Raymond over the Spaghetti. Number three, Daniel Graham, old tight end of ours. Boss. He said he's the boss. Number 4, he's going with oatmeal, creator for the favorite cereal. Number 5, best player you ever played against, our boy Donald Strickland in practice. Number 6, our old strength coach, Doc Crease. He said, run. Number 7, he'd rather swim with the stingrays than climb Mount Everest. Number 8, he's going old school with Randy Moss over Megatron. Number 9, he's going with Riri over Beyonce. Number 10, he's going with lettuce for his favorite taco topping. Number 11, Gary Barnett, our old coach. He said, Coach. Number 12, he's going with the Red Vines over the Skittles. And number 13, so he's in the mix.
In there. He's in
mix
there.
For the comeback show. He's going with Jamaica over Hawaii. Great job. All right. So
that's enough.
we gotta have a Big 12 duel between Derek and RJ potentially down the road, because this is our spring winner. So great job right there, Buff. And we are on to our last segment of the show, having fun with my former teammate. Hell of a player, you guys. Big time clutch wide receiver. Check the film. We're on to the audience portion, the audience Q&A portion. If you are live with us, you can pop a question in the comment section. If you got something pertaining to football, something pertaining to the CU football team, something going on right now in football, put the question in the chat. But I know the Guru's got something for us too.
Definitely. So, man, the question I had for you this evening was, be it that you were over in NFL Europe, and me and T talk about this over time. We've had a lot of conversations about this. Give us kind of the rundown, a minute of kind of what you saw and what you saw and what you experienced, different culture wise. But how do you see the NFL growing beyond the U.S.?
Yeah, man. I went out there and played for Hamburg, Germany, which is north in Germany, and went out there with a bunch of guys that were from all over the country, and all we knew about Germany was Hitler. So we were like, hey, we got to stick together out here, y'all. So I'm out here with my boy Terrence Metcalf, Eric Metcalf's little brother.
Right.
Chris Collins, who's Eli Manning's receiver at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And Ryan Dinwiddie, who was
I remember. I remember Dinwiddie. Yeah.
That was our crew of 4. So we were always together the whole time, going to places, riding the train, getting food, going out and things. And I was pleasantly I had a beautiful time in Germany. I felt less racial stigma towards my skin in Germany than I
keep hearing that
in the United States.
I keep hearing that.
If it did feel like the clothing, it felt like we were in America in the 80s. Like they had on the tight rolled jeans and the Pumas and things. Right. So I was like, this feels like a throwback, but the food was good. The people were amazing. I recommend going out to Germany. And to me, it was like there's some sort of desire to get on the football ship around the globe, and out there in Europe, there's a bit of that. We are so sort of like it's one of our prime things out here. It's bigger than soccer in America. So I don't know. The NFL Europe didn't create that level of traction for American football going around, right? Soccer is still the global sport. So basketball and soccer to me is the global sports, and football is sort of our thing here in the States.
Gotcha.
We're going to still get some people from overstates though, but when I was out there, there was a requirement for every other series for a European player to be playing out there. So I had to share time with people that were actually like high school level, maybe varsity, that weren't professionals. And to me, it was like some of those guys were good, but it was like going against a high schooler. Going against some of these guys that didn't, we've been playing since we were 5 years old. So it's a different level of having it in your skin than somebody that's like, oh, I want to do that, and they're 15 years old.
Right. Yeah. Got you.
Let me ask you this, D, before we let you go, man. You always struck me as someone that was a little bit more aware, savvy with how to have relationships with coaches and different things like that. But a lot of these kids don't know. what advice would you give to a kid that has always had his butt kissed, has been the superstar? Now he's at Ohio State, he's at Clemson, and he's equal to many
Yeah.
people. So has to navigate things a little bit better than maybe in the past. What advice would you give to these kids about having a professional relationship with the coach?
Man, I love the question, T, and I think the answer is in the question. You know, honestly, like I was one of those guys you're referring to. I got good grades and everything, but I didn't build the kind of relationships with the coaches that I should have. I built relationships with fellow teammates that I liked, but I could have did a way better job of going into the coach's room and building relationships and picking their ear, and just being more social. You know, everybody that you see out there nowadays, you see that they're dynamic all around, right? It's not just their football game, it's they're entertainers, and they are really magnanimous. They bring drawing people in. They're talking with the crowd. They're talking with the refs. They're talking with the opponents, right? It might be some trash talk, but it's all love and respect too. So to me, it's a matter of building those relationships in love. Yeah, we're competing, but the reality is, like, I love T Wood and D Strick, even though like they're busting my ass every day in practice. We knew how to like leave that on the field and then go be friends.
Yeah.
So having that sort of ability to, you know, go all out, but then like don't let it linger into relationships. You know, you see a lot of guys that are super talented that don't last as long as they could because they don't know how to regulate their emotions and be social in ways that are productive for the organization and the culture, because it's not just about what's happening on that field. To that bit earlier on Rice, Mama Rice, like what you're doing off the field matters just as much as what you're doing on the field. So be that game time championship player every day in practice. Be that game time championship player every day in the classroom, in the community, in your family, and then you can't fail, you know, because that's just your habit. And that was what got me to the next levels is I practiced every day like it was a championship game. And now in life is still hard. But I come at every day like it's an interview and I'm giving the best that I can. And even now I'm making mistakes, but I'm willing to say my bad, I'm going to do better, and I'm going to keep putting that work in every day.
Love it right there. Man. And that's why you guys, he has such a successful career and still doing big things in the community, nonprofit and everything. You know, key to the city in Boulder. And I love it. And you earned it, man. So, hey, I love you, man. Miss you. And thank you for coming on the Locker Room Show.
Definitely.
Love you, T.
Peace. All right, my man. Definitely, baby. All right.
So there you guys have it, man. The great Derek McCoy, man. Q, I'm not lying, dude. I seen it where, you know, and you seen it because you played at a high level where, you know, some guys are a little bit over their head, you know, when they first get there. And then you see guys fade out or you see guys figure it out. And not only did he figure it out, he was the go-to. For like 3 years, man. 3 years, you know, he was the go-to wideout. And, you know, it's a huge testament that when you put in the work, it pays off.
Yeah, no, it definitely does, man. You know, I mean, like I said, even playing against y'all, man, you know, I mean, I had an opportunity, obviously, from the opposite side of the field, but to see him, you know, grow as a player. And I noticed that, you know, junior, senior, I'm like, man, like that's their clutch guy, but that takes a ton of work. And that's something, man, that people forget is they always look at it. They look at people's talent and they forget the work that has to be put in to be a great player, man.
Yeah, 100%. So, hey, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I know that there's still football on TV and on the tablet. And then also, I know you guys are getting prepared, a lot of you guys, for games this weekend. So we're wishing you the best of luck. Come back next Thursday. I got two people. I got the next 2 weeks lined up with big-time people for you guys. And we ain't saying a thing. You got to come show up and come rock out with us. So, Q, anything good for the people before we get out of here?
Hey, I tell you what, man, we're flying through this season, but before you know it, especially you high schoolers, the playoffs are going to be up on us. And we say this every single year. If you're not on the map, if you're a sophomore on varsity, especially if you're a junior. I call junior year the money year in high school for sure. That's the money year right there. Make big plays in the playoffs. That's how you put yourself on the map immediately. Make plays in the playoffs. Help get your team to the playoffs, but once you get there, make plays in the playoffs. I'm telling you, the guru's telling you, guaranteed, man. That's when you start opening some eyes in those big playoff games.
Yes, indeed. The coaches, the college coaches get to come
yeah,
watch those
center.
games. They want to come to those games. They figure the best players are playing in those games. So,
they
may be coming to see somebody else, and you can steal the show. So, great point right there, Guru. We hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. We had the great Derek McCoy, former teammate of mine. Go back on YouTube, man. Clutch wide receiver, all Big 12, NFL. Came and gave you some sauce. So please make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and share. Help us grow this football community. A ton of free content that we give every single day with the Before You Go Pro channel. And then also, if you're a young athlete out there that's looking to get to the level that we played at and looking for some extra connections and support, please check us out at Before You Go Pro, and also check out NILLLC.org. We are out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. That's Guru. I'm Coach Wood. We'll see you at the top. Have a good one.